Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zakka. Jacob, Nalini and 6 other convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case have been given early release by the Supreme Court. This follows the release of Ravichandran last year. Most mainstream political parties, at least the two biggest ones, DMK and ADMK, have welcomed this move, but the Congress party and the BJP both have taken exception. Even though the Gandhi family have forgiven the killers, the question is being asked, what message does this send that the assassins of a former Prime Minister are set free? Before I get to that exclusive interview with Nalini, here's the story of the day so far.
"31 years after Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated in Sriharan by a woman suicide bomber of the LTTE, all 7 convicts who were sentenced to death for their role in the killing have now been set free by the Supreme Court. It started in May this year when the top court used its special powers to free one of the convicts, AG Perarivalan. Today, the Supreme Court ordered the premature release of all 6 remaining convicts, including Nalini Sriharan.
எங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷங்க 6 பேரையும் விடுதலை பண்ணது. தமிழ்நாடு கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கும் சிஎம் அவர்கள் ஐயாவுக்கும் எல்லாத்துக்கும் நன்றி. தமிழக மக்கள் எல்லாருமே நல்லா பண்ணாங்க.
In 2000, Nalini's sentence was reduced to a life term after Sonia Gandhi filed a clemency petition pointing out that Nalini was pregnant when she was arrested. In 2008, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra met Nalini in prison in Tamil Nadu's Vellore. The sentence of 6 more convicts was also commuted in 2014. And last year, Rahul Gandhi said he had forgiven his father's killers.
I don't have anger or hatred towards anybody. Of course, I lost my father, and for me it was a very difficult time. So I felt tremendous pain, but I don't feel anger. I don't feel any hatred or any anger. I forgive.
While the Gandhi family has been vocal about not feeling any anger towards Rajiv Gandhi's killers, the Congress party fumed at the Supreme Court's decision to free the convicts.
Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, above all, is entitled to her personal views. But with greatest respect, the party does not agree with that view. The decision by the Supreme Court on the release of the assassins of Rajiv Gandhi is highly discouraging, dispiriting.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister and Congress ally M.K. Stalin, on the other hand, welcomed the release, calling it a victory of strong legal battles and humanity. Successive governments in Tamil Nadu have been in favour of the premature release of Rajiv Gandhi's killers. But is it on humanitarian grounds or pure politics?
When I spoke to Nalini Sriharan right after the Supreme Court ordered her early release, she said that justice had been served after 32 long years.
இந்த கடந்த ஒரு 30 வருஷ காலமா உங்களை தீவிரவாதின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. இந்த கொலை கேஸ்ல முக்கிய அக்யூஸ்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. இத பத்தி என்ன சொல்லுவீங்க நீங்க?
நான் செய்யாத கொலைன்றதுனால எனக்கு என்னோட மனசாட்சி எப்பவுமே கிளியரா தான் இருந்திருக்கு. இது நாள் வரைக்கும் நான் அந்த கொலை செய்யலன்றது, அதுல 17 பேருக்கும் எனக்கும் என்னங்க இருக்கு, என்ன மோட்டிவ் இருக்கு, எனக்கு நீங்களே சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம். யாரையும் கொலை செய்யணும்ன்ற அவசியம் எனக்கு இல்லவே இல்லை. நான் நல்லா படிச்சிருக்கிறேன், எனக்கு கை கால்லாம் இருக்குது, நல்லா வேலை செய்யறதுக்கான எல்லா விதமான தகுதியும் எனக்கு இருக்கு. அப்படி இருக்குச்சு நான் எதுக்கு ஒரு கொலையை செய்யணும் அப்படின்னு தான் நான் எப்பவுமே நினைப்பேன். அது மட்டும் இல்லாம அந்த மாதிரியான நினைப்புலதான் நான் இன்னைக்கு வரைக்கும் உயிரோட இருந்தேன். நான் கண்டிப்பா வெற்றி பெறுவேன்னு எனக்கு தெரியும். நான் முதல் நாள்ல இருந்தே நான் அதை நினைச்சேன், நம்புனேன். எனக்கு நியாயம் கிடைக்கும்னு, நீதிக்கு வெல்லும் அப்படின்னு நான் நினைச்சேன். அதே மாதிரி சத்தியம் ஜெயிச்சிருக்கு இன்னைக்கு என்னோட வாழ்க்கையில. யார் வேணா என்ன சொல்லிட்டு போட்டோம் நான் ஒரு கொலைகாரி. நான் உண்மையா சொல்றேன், என் மனசாட்சி இன்னைக்கு வரைக்கும் கிளியரா இருக்குது. நான் நிஜமாவே சொல்றேன், அதை நினைச்சாதான் என்னால தூங்கவே முடியும்.
நீங்க சிறைச்சாலையில் இருந்தப்போ காந்தி குடும்பத்தினர் ராகுல் காந்தி, பிரியங்கா காந்தி இவங்க உங்களை பார்த்தாங்க. அவங்க கூட என்ன பேச்சுவார்த்தை நடந்தது? அவங்க கிட்ட என்ன சொல்ல விரும்புவீங்க இன்னைக்கு?
இன்னைக்கா அவங்க கிட்ட நான் உண்மையதாங்க சொன்னேன். அதே மாதிரி இன்னைக்கு உண்மை ஜெயிச்சிருக்கு. அதுதான்
அவங்க உங்களை மன்னிக்க,
அவங்களெல்லாம் ஹர்ட் பண்ணணும்ன்றோ அவங்களெல்லாம் பாதிக்க வைக்கணும்னோ என்னோட மனசுல ஒரு நாள் ஒரு துளி கூட எண்ணம் கிடையாதுங்க. இது அவங்களோட பர்சனல் விஷயம் இல்லையா, அது நம்ம பேசக்கூடாது இல்லைங்களா?
ஓகே ஓகே உங்க கூட மத்த 6 பேர் இப்ப ரிலீஸ் ஆயிருக்காங்க, அவங்க கிட்ட என்ன சொல்ல விரும்புவீங்க நீங்க?
6 பேருக்கும் வாழ்த்துக்கள் சொல்லணும். அதுல ஒருத்தர் எங்க வீட்டுக்காரர் இல்லையா, எவ்வளவு சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு எனக்கு. பாவம் எங்க வீட்டுக்காரர் 20 வயசுல உள்ள வந்த, அதனால இன்னைக்கு அவரோட விடுதலை ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா பார்க்கிறேன். அவர் போய் அவங்க குடும்பத்தோட இருக்கணும்.
இந்த கடந்த ஒரு 30 ஆண்டு காலமாக உங்க குடும்பத்தினர் அவங்க என்னெல்லாம் தவிச்சிருக்காங்க, அதை பத்தி கொஞ்சம் சொல்லுங்க.
எல்லா விதத்திலயுமே தவிப்பு தாங்க. அவங்க எல்லாம் வீடு கொடுக்காம நிறைய கஷ்டப்பட்டு இருக்காங்க. வீடு வீடா மாறி இருக்கிறாங்க. அவங்க வீடு இல்லாம வாசல் இல்லாம இன்னைக்கும் நாங்க பிளாட்ஃபார்ம்ல நிக்கிற அளவுக்கு தான் நிக்கிறோம். இந்த வழக்கு காரணமா செய்யாத தவறுக்காக ஒரு 32 வருஷம் போராட்டம். இதெல்லாம் என்ன பண்றது, நம்மளுக்கு பேக்ரவுண்ட் இல்லாம இருந்துச்சு. அதனால நம்ம இதுல ஈஸியா மாட்ட முடிஞ்சுது நம்மள.
சோ இன்னைக்கு
நல்லது நினைச்சது. இன்னைக்கு கோவாய் ஐயாவுக்கும் நாகரத்ன அம்மாவுக்கும் நான் ரொம்ப 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 நன்றி சொல்லணும்.
அவங்க யாரு?
அவங்க 2 பேரும் ஜட்ஜஸ்.
ஓகே.
இந்த கேஸ்ல இருக்க ஜட்ஜஸ் இல்லையா, அவங்களுக்கும் அவருக்கு நாகேஸ்வர ராவ் ஐயாவுக்கு, ரமண ஐயாவுக்கு, லலித் ஐயாவுக்கு, சந்திரசூட் ஐயாவுக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் நான் ரொம்ப நன்றி கடன் பட்டிருக்கேன். இதுல சதாசிவன் ஐயா தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட்.
All right, let me now open this up to our guests who are joining us. Mr. Radhakrishnan is Nalini's lawyer. He's joining us. Ratan Sharda, RSS researcher and author. Rashid Kidwai, author and senior journalist. Adil Singh Bopra of the Congress Party spokesperson also joining us. And Dr. Yarini is a DMK spokesperson. Adil Singh Bopra, it is a well-recorded fact that the entire Gandhi family, from Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, had all forgiven Nalini and the other accomplices in the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi. If they, who were the most affected by this, were willing to forgive, then what is the Congress Party's problem? Adil, if you can hear me, that question was to you.
Is that to me, Zakka?
Yes, that's to you.
Is that question
yes,
to me?
Yes,
Zakka?
Adil, that question is to you, Adil, yes.
Well, Zakka, at the outset, the Congress Party has the highest respect for the Honorable Supreme Court of India. Having said this, as a party, we are disappointed because late Sri Rajiv Gandhi was not just a leader of the Congress Party, he was a former Prime Minister of this country. He was also your Prime Minister. The Gandhis may have forgiven the assassins, the killers, but the fact of the matter is that this was a deep-rooted conspiracy against India. It was a premeditated conspiracy which targeted the sovereignty and the integrity of our country. And therefore, it is our humble submission that the court ought to have considered the overall complexion and the overall facts and circumstances of this case. Mm-hmm. So therefore, in that context, we as a party and we as Indians are disappointed.
Mr. Radhakrishnan is Nalini's lawyer. He's joining us. What message does this send? A former Prime Minister was killed. This was a terrorist act. In fact, the group to which Danu and the others belonged, Sriharan and the others belonged, was outlawed after the assassination of Mr. Rajiv Gandhi. The fact that accomplices to his assassination have been let free, or at least given early release, what sort of message does that send, Mr. Radhakrishnan?
Firstly, as Nalini's lawyer, I don't see this as a political issue. It is purely a constitutional issue. Whether a life convict can be released or not after a specified period of time. That is the issue before the Tamil Nadu government and now before the Supreme Court. It is not the power of the Supreme Court that has played a role here. It is the power of the Tamil Nadu government under Article 161 of the Constitution. The Tamil Nadu cabinet has taken the decision, passed a resolution, sent to the Governor of Tamil Nadu. Governor of Tamil Nadu has failed to discharge his constitutional duty. That's why Nalini approached the Madras High Court initially, then she came to the Supreme Court. So this is nothing, connected with Rajiv Gandhi's family, or it is not connected with the emotions of the people. It is connected with the Constitution and only the Constitution. Now the Supreme Court has made it clear. The governor is bound by the advice of the government of Tamil Nadu. That is the message the Supreme Court has given to the country.
Mr. Ravichandran,
right?
if I may interrupt, give me 10 seconds.
Yes.
The fact is that the court has not acquitted any of these people. They are all convicted as accomplices to the assassination of a former prime minister. So it's not like the court has said that they have not committed this crime.
No, that's why I am telling they were convicted. The philosophy of our criminal justice system is not to see the people dying in prison. They have to be reformed, rehabilitated, and joined in the mainstream of the society.
Okay.
That is our principle, that is our philosophy. Supreme Court has reiterated the philosophy. So you can't say this is a terrorist offense. Supreme Court has made it clear all people were accused of third offenses. All people, all the 7. They were convicted only under section 302, read with 120B IPC.
Okay.
That's all.
So let me ask Dr. Yarni. No, of course,
Mr.
Radhakrishnan may be right in terms of the sections 302 for murder and 120B for conspiracy. But the fact is also that the LTTE was then recognized as a terrorist organization, and members who assassinated former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi were designated as terrorists. The fact of the matter is, and I keep coming back to this, it's not like any court of law, including the Supreme Court, has acquitted any of these members. Dr. Yarni, by releasing the convicts early, and that too convicts who are convicted for the assassination of a former Prime Minister, what sort of message does it send about India's own standing when it comes to its own national security?
I don't think we can't look at this only from the angle of the national security, right? So let me talk about it with regards to how my party sees this, how DMK sees this. So DMK has always approached this case with with regards to like two viewpoints. One is, as Radhakrishnan sir had said, as from the humanitarian basis, and other with regards to the recent developments, especially with the Peravivaran case or with the release of the 6 convicts today. These cases become utmost significant with regards to the federal rights of the states. So if we take a look back at the Peravivaran case, the justice have highlighted that the governor's rights, right, the powers are qualified by the constitutional mandate, and they've also said that the governor's sources of powers are only 2. One, in which they have to act in aid and advice of the cabinet of the ministers, and second one is the discretionary power. With regards to the discretionary power, we should take notice that in almost in all of the non-BJP ruled states, right, the governor's discretionary power is always it goes against his constitutional powers. He goes beyond the constitutional powers and becomes an agent of the union government. Why is it that these governors are always agnostic to what is right and wrong for the people? Why are they always if in case where the states and the union are digressing in a path? Why is that the governor doesn't look what is good for the people, and why is it always?
No, so can you explain to our viewers, Dr. Yarni, how is the release of Nalini and 6 other convicts convicted in the assassination of a former Prime Minister? How is that beneficial to the people of Tamil Nadu?
How is it beneficial? As Radhakrishnan sir has said, this is again on 2 bases, right? The humanitarian basis, the reformative justice, which should be the principle of the prisons in India, and also the second one being the federal rights of the states. As soon as the death sentence was commuted to the life imprisonment, this case comes under complete remit of the state government. And as per the Tamil Nadu prison laws, any prisoner who has been serving 20 years in a prison, he can be reinstated into the society. So this is again about how and why can't a state exercise its federal rights, and it is also again about rehabilitation and reintegrating the prisoners.
Let me ask Ratan Sharda,
So
the fundamental principle of criminal jurisprudence in our country is on reformative justice, and many state governments in the past, in heinous crimes also, of those convicts who have spent 14 years or 20 years, have decided to give early remission to convicts. That's the whole principle on which our criminal justice system is built. So to that extent, what is wrong in releasing people who have spent the last 30 years of their life in jail?
Zakka, it's very disingenuous for DMK person to bring in state sovereignty, center-state relations, and trying to find a way out of this strange decision of releasing the terrorists, and to keep on harping on sovereignty, etc., and make that an excuse to release somebody. I think that is not really correct. I'm also appalled by the welcome given to the earlier convict also, Stalin, actually welcomed the first release that of Perari villain, based on which the new release order has been given. And Congress kept quiet at that time. And it is not at politics I am playing. As a citizen, I am hurt. Whether I was a critic of Rajiv Gandhi, etc., is immaterial. A PM was killed, an ex-PM was killed very brutally, and people were sentenced to death. And Stalin, as CM, welcomes the person who killed the ex-PM, and Congress kept quiet. And I also do not understand, it was not just Mr. Rajiv Gandhi who died as a family man. He was the leader of the nation.
Yeah.
14 people lost their lives, innocent people lost their lives.
Correct.
Who will look after them? Do they need justice? So whether it's justice of one person vis-a-vis justice for the nation, justice for 14 people killed, and justice for a body blown out of sight. And I don't agree that the Gandhi family can their own views vis-a-vis Congress, because Congress is basically Gandhi party. And as a citizen of India, I think personal decisions cannot be done for the nation. National decisions have to be taken on national will. And that is where Congress went wrong. And it saddens me when people fire crackers when somebody is released who has been convicted.
Okay.
And you can keep on talking human rights, but when they kill people's human rights, that didn't mean anything.
Let me ask Rashid Kidwai, I mean, does the personal view of Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi have any merit in this legal case? Because ultimately, the law has to decide, and the Supreme Court has decided to give them early remission. The Congress party taking a discordant stand from what the three leaders have taken, that's a tough sell. I mean, people are not buying that.
I think, Zakka, because we lack that basic understanding of legal aspect. This was a crime against the state. We don't have a kind of tribal laws or religious laws where there could be blood money or some kind of that kind of thing could have taken place. So this was a crime against the state, as Mr. Ratan Sharda has rightly pointed out. A former prime minister, for his acts that he performed as Prime Minister of India, those things were held against him and he was assassinated. And all those decisions that were taken as far as the Sri Lankan policy of that time was concerned, the Indian High Commissioner there, the Deputy High Commissioner, and many others who were holding very important positions in the government subsequently, they were all in a way responsible for it. So it was a act that could not be, nobody could do it. In many court decisions that I have seen subsequently in matters of national security, terrorism, treason, etc. The trial courts have held this ground that there cannot be any kind of concession on humanitarian ground at all.
Okay.
So this is a sad day, and I think we must understand the the emotional state of three Gandhis, and of course the stand taken by the Congress party. I mean, if you look at all it's a very cynical way of looking at politics. After Rajiv Gandhi died as a rather young man and no fault of his.
Let me ask Mr. Radhakrishnan, the advocate of Nalini. You look at comparable cases, Yaqub Memon case, or even an Ajmal Kasab case, which went all the way up to the Supreme Court. The fact of the matter is that subsequently, after Rajiv Gandhi's assassination, the level of tolerance for terrorism is zero. I mean, a terrorist act should not be brooked in any form or fashion. Why should Nalini and the others be judged by any other yardstick, any different from which Yaqub Memon was judged?
Let me make it clear. Calling these 7 people terrorists would strike at the root of the Supreme Court judgment. You are committing contempt of the Supreme Court while calling them terrorists or while labeling it as a terrorist crime. Because the Supreme Court has made it very clear, it is not a terrorist crime at all. It is simple murder of a person. That's why I am repeatedly telling this is a murder of a person. Of course, he was the former Prime Minister of our country. That is different. But so far as law is concerned, they are convicted only under Section 302 IPC and read with 120B IPC, not under terrorist law.
But Mr. Radhakrishnan, surely you know that in 1991,
yes,
sir,
yes,
that in 1991,
yes,
when the crime happened, there were no stringent provisions or anti-terror laws in the country at that time. Had that same crime happened after 2000, they would have been convicted under those charges as well.
No. Tada was there. They were tried under Tada. They were wrongly tried. Ultimately, they lost the appeal chance. They went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court made it clear. So we should never call them terrorists. That is very unfortunate. That's my view, because there is a premature release scheme in Tamil Nadu. It is not a concession.
So how would you classify this crime? No,
you
said it's a murder. Okay.
No,
wait. The murder happened to be that of a former prime minister.
Yes.
And not just that, there were 14 others who died.
Anybody.
There are 14 others who died.
Maybe.
Shouldn't this be classified at the very least as a mass killing? It is a mass killing.
That we have to see. Maruram 40 years ago made it clear. You have to not look to the crime but the criminal. While reformative theory is being applied, you have to look to the criminal, not the crime. So that's my view. So this purely constitutional issue, it is not the issue relating to politics.
Let me ask Adil Boparai to respond to Radhakrishnan. After that, I think Ratan Sharda also wants to come in. Yeah. Adil Boparai.
Zakka,
excuse me for a moment. I'm taking your leave.
Can I complete, please?
Adil.
I vehemently disagree with the previous speaker. These people are terrorists. They were accomplices. And this was not just an attack on late Sri Rajiv Gandhi and 14 other people. This was an attack on the soul of India. I repeat, this was an attack on the soul of India. Number one. Number two, we as a country must consider the precedent this case sets. In my opinion and in the opinion of the Congress party, this is a case which falls in the rarest of rare category. So therefore, at the least, when it was life imprisonment, it should have been till the end of the natural life of the convicts. And I think there is no dispute on the fact that they were convicted by none other but the apex court of this country. So therefore, the previous speaker should not try to wash off their criminality. They are convicts under the Supreme Court judgment. Whether this has been done or not is a different story. And finally, Zakka, I think it is important that the Honorable Apex Court should have also given credence to what the centre had said. Because here there was a divergence between what the state government wanted and what the central government wanted.
Yeah.
And therefore, on behalf of the Congress party, we do sincerely believe that the government of India filed a review petition. Because this is something which is within their remit. The government must pursue legal remedies and at least apply for a review of this order.
No, so let me ask Dr. Yarini, in the case of Perarivalan, he was sentenced to death in 91-92 when this case happened, after which for 16 years he was on the death row. No state government wanted to execute him. There was an inexplicable delay of those 16 years, after which his death sentence was commuted to life. And after that, of course, he got to apply to the Supreme Court asking for remission, asking for early release. The fact is that that death sentence had to be carried out by the state. And in Tamil Nadu, neither DMK nor ADMK, which is in power alternately, wanted to execute that sentence for 16 long years. That's how it got remission back into life sentence from death.
Yes, I mean, I understand the timeline of the case, but then we should also take into account, that when in case of Perarivalan's case, right, only when the officer Tyagarajan, he admitted in the Supreme Court that he had failed to record a statement which was made by Perarivalan, and the confession was that Perarivalan was unaware of the purpose for which he was asked to buy the batteries, right, and Perarivalan was only 19 years at that point of time. Post which he had served a sentence for about 30 plus years, 36 years, I guess. So it was only after, after that, as per the Tamil Nadu prison law, as I said earlier, it was only after he actually asked for that rule to be implemented, which was introduced in the year 1994, that he should be considered to be reintegrated into the society, as he had already served the 20 years in the prison. So,
Dr. Yarini, you're not getting the point I'm asking. The question I'm asking is, for 16 years, neither ADMK-led government nor DMK-led governments wanted to execute the death sentence, which gave him time to then approach the Supreme Court and ask for remission of sentence.
No, basically, it is not that either DMK and both DMK and ADMK, they were they they were of the opinion, especially let me talk for the party that I belong to. DMK has never supported violence, or in fact even in case of the Rajiv Gandhi case, right? So even it has taken into custody the individuals who had boasted about this incident of the death of a former prime minister.
Okay.
So it is not that the DMK has been supporting any sort of violence, but we should also take into account the specific special cases of Pera and the rest of the convicts who are released today. And it was also the Sonia Gandhi who had asked the late CM Kalaignar Karunanidhi to commute the death sentence to life imprisonment. So it was the broad support and the conscience of the Tamil Nadu people as a whole, and also the various political parties. It is not that any parties out here are in favor of the
Let
violence,
me ask
but it is about
Ratan Sharda that Dr. Yarni has a point, in as much as even Jayalalitha, when she was in power, had written on multiple occasions to the Prime Minister, including to Prime Minister Modi, asking for the early release of Nalini. And there was no love lost between Jayalalitha and the LTTE. In fact, there were numerous attempts on her life by the LTTE. And yet, she asked for this early remission of Nalini. So, both the mainstream political parties in Tamil Nadu have from time to time asked for the early release of these convicts. So, there is a mainstream acceptance that these convicts need to be released, or they've served their time, as it were. Ratan Sharda.
Zakka, we know that Dravid parties, DK parties, whether DMK or ADMK, had a soft corner for the Tamils of Lanka. And they supported LTTE with every possible help. We know that also. So today to say that DMK doesn't believe in violence, I don't agree with that statement, because they were continuously in support of terrorists, the LTTE, and they provide many kind of helps to the Tamil people. In fact, felt aggrieved about the violence against Tamils. Rightly, wrongly, they supported them rightly, wrongly. But today to say we didn't support is wrong. And that is the reason that Tamil politics stopped it. My main point is, were they not, when the lawyer said it is a contempt of court and made a very genius argument, this is a murder, can we say it was an organized crime? Can we say that they were also working with LTT, so it's international ramifications of an organized crime? So does that make it serious, or doesn't make it serious? It is as good as somebody going to somebody's home and killing the person. This is how he's comparing it. So this comparison is odious, and I think this kind of approach is very wrong. And it is a bitter truth that the DK parties didn't want to create something which emotionally touchy to the Tamils, but the crime is a crime. Judiciary doesn't work on emotions.
Okay, Rashid Gidwai, final word. Supreme Court has ruled in the past that even for heinous crimes where people are sentenced for life sentences, 14 years is the minimum that they have to serve, and thereafter between 14, 20 and sometimes even 24, it is left to respective individual states where these people are serving their sentences to take a call, whether based on good behavior, health condition, etc., to give them early remission. In the case of Nalini, Pera, etc., they've spent 30 years in prison, and the state, which is the case that Radhakrishnan and Dr. Yarni have been making, the state was well within its right, as per the constitution, to decide whether or not to give early remission. And in this case, both DMK and ADMK were in favor of early remission.
I think, Zakka, we must understand this Rajiv Gandhi assassination case is a very poor reflection on the criminal justice system in India. Rajiv Gandhi, before his death, could not get proper security arrangement that was befitting for a former prime minister. He could not get justice in the manner in which the trial took place. I remember in August 1995, when P.V. Narasimha Rao government was there, Sonia Gandhi had gone to Amethi and she had made a very emotional speech saying that, if Rajiv Gandhi, cannot get justice, then you can imagine how the poor of the country would be getting it. So there is the kind of tardy progress and the manner in which the trial took place. We must not forget there were two commissions of inquiry, Justice Verma Commission, Justice Ravichandran Commission, and they had made several startling revelations. None of them were followed. Successive governments, including the Congress governments, are responsible in this tardy progress. So that's what I'm saying. It's a very sad and a very poor reflection in the criminal justice system of India.
All right, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how this plays out politically in Tamil Nadu. For the moment, I want to thank all our guests. I want to play out once again an excerpt from that interview with Nalini Sriharan. It was the first interview after she got this early release by the Supreme Court. She says, For 30 years, she was tagged as a terrorist. Today, she says that tag is gone.
இந்த கடந்த ஒரு 30 வருஷ காலமா உங்களை தீவிரவாதின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. இந்த கொலை கேஸ்ல முக்கிய அக்யூஸ்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. இத பத்தி என்ன சொல்லுவீங்க நீங்க?
நான் செய்யாத கொலைன்றதுனால எனக்கு என்னோட மனசாட்சி எப்பவுமே கிளியரா தான் இருந்திருக்கு. இது நாள் வரைக்கும் நான் அந்த கொலை செய்யலன்றது அதுல 17 பேருக்கும் எனக்கும் என்னங்க இருக்கு, என்ன மோட்டிவ் இருக்கு எனக்கு நீங்களே சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம். யாரையும் கொலை செய்யணுன்ற அவசியம் எனக்கு இல்லவே இல்லை. நான் நல்லா படிச்சிருக்கிறேன், எனக்கு கை கால்லாம் இருக்குது, நல்லா வேலை செய்யறதுக்கான எல்லா விதமான தகுதியும் எனக்கு இருக்கு. அப்படி இருந்துச்சு நான் எதுக்கு ஒரு கொலையை செய்யணும் அப்படின்னு தான் நான் எப்பவுமே நினைப்பேன். அது மட்டும் இல்லாம அந்த மாதிரியான நினைப்புலதான் நான் இன்னைக்கு வரைக்கும் உயிரோட இருந்தேன். நான் கண்டிப்பா வெற்றி பெறுவேன்னு எனக்கு தெரியும். நான் முதல் நாள்ல இருந்தே நான் அதை நினைச்சேன், நம்புனேன். எனக்கு நியாயம் கிடைக்கும்னு, நீதிக்கு வெல்லும் அப்படின்னு நான் நினைச்சேன். அதே மாதிரி சத்தியம் ஜெயிச்சிருக்கு இன்னைக்கு என்னோட வாழ்க்கையில. யார் வேணா என்ன சொல்லிட்டு போட்டோம் நான் ஒரு கொலைகாரி. நான் உண்மையா சொல்றேன், என் மனசாட்சி இன்னைக்கு வரைக்கும் கிளியரா இருக்குது. நான் நிஜமாவே சொல்றேன், அதை நினைச்சாதான் என்னால தூங்கவே முடியும்.
நீங்க சிறைச்சாலையில் இருந்தப்போ காந்தி குடும்பத்தினர் ராகுல் காந்தி, பிரியங்கா காந்தி இவங்க உங்களை பார்த்தாங்க. அவங்க கூட என்ன பேச்சுவார்த்தை நடந்தது? அவங்க கிட்ட என்ன சொல்ல விரும்புவீங்க இன்னைக்கு?
இன்னைக்கா அவங்க கிட்ட நான் உண்மையதாங்க சொன்னேன். அதே மாதிரி இன்னைக்கு உண்மை ஜெயிச்சிருக்கு. அதுதான்
அவங்க உங்களை மன்னிக்க,
அவங்களெல்லாம் ஹர்ட் பண்ணணும்ன்றோ அவங்களெல்லாம் பாதிக்க வைக்கணும்னோ என்னோட மனசுல ஒரு நாள் ஒரு துளி கூட எண்ணம் கிடையாதுங்க. இது அவங்களோட பர்சனல் விஷயம் இல்லையா, அது நம்ம பேசக்கூடாது இல்லைங்களா?
ஓகே ஓகே. உங்க கூட மத்த 6 பேர் இப்ப ரிலீஸ் ஆயிருக்காங்க. அவங்க கிட்ட என்ன சொல்ல விரும்புவீங்க நீங்க? 6
பேருக்கும் வாழ்த்துக்கள் சொல்லணும். அதுல ஒருத்தர் எங்க வீட்டுக்காரர் இல்லையா, எவ்வளவு சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு எனக்கு. பாவம் எங்க வீட்டுக்காரர் 20 வயசுல உள்ள வந்த, அதனால இன்னைக்கு அவரோட விடுதலை ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா பார்க்கிறேன். அவர் போய் அவங்க குடும்பத்தோட இருக்கணும்.
இந்த கடந்த ஒரு 30 ஆண்டு காலமாக உங்க குடும்பத்தினர் அவங்க என்னெல்லாம் தவிச்சிருக்காங்க, அதை பத்தி கொஞ்சம் சொல்லுங்க.
எல்லா விதத்திலயுமே தவிப்பு தாங்க. அவங்க எல்லாம் வீடு கொடுக்காம நிறைய கஷ்டப்பட்டு இருக்காங்க. வீடு வீடா மாறி இருக்கிறாங்க. அவங்க வீடு இல்லாம வாசல் இல்லாம இன்னைக்கும் நாங்க பிளாட்ஃபார்ம்ல நிக்கிற அளவுக்கு தான் நிக்கிறோம். இந்த வழக்கு காரணமா செய்யாத தவறுக்காக ஒரு 32 வருஷம் போராட்டம். இதெல்லாம் என்ன பண்றது, நம்மளுக்கு பேக்ரவுண்ட் இல்லாம இருந்துச்சு. அதனால நம்ம இதுல ஈஸியா மாட்ட முடிஞ்சிச்சு நம்மள.
இன்னைக்கு
நல்லது நினைச்சது. இன்னைக்கு கோவாய் ஐயாவுக்கும் நாகரத்ன அம்மாவுக்கும் நான் ரொம்ப 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 நன்றி சொல்லணும்.
அவங்க யாரு?
அவங்க 2 பேரும் ஜட்ஜஸ். இந்த கேஸ்ல இருக்க ஜட்ஜஸ் இல்லையா, அவங்களுக்கும் அவருக்கு நாகேஸ்வர ராவ் ஐயாவுக்கு, ரமண ஐயாவுக்கு, லலித் ஐயாவுக்கு, சந்திரசூட் ஐயாவுக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் நான் ரொம்ப நன்றி கடன் பட்டிருக்கேன். இதுல சதாசிவன் ஐயா தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட்.